Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. On this occasion, I will present the result of our research entitled Enhancing Employee Quality Through Objective Evaluation, a Delphi-AHP approach for selecting best employees at McEasy company. I will start with the background. Employees are one of the most important assets owned by company. To maintain and increase employees' quality, companies need to conduct an employee performance appraisal in the form of selecting best employees. This selection will produce valid and useful information for employee administrative decisions. The McEasy company selects the best employees to motivate employees to increase their dedication and performance. Selection of the best employees is carried out periodically, but has not been maximized in its implementation, since it carried out without clear criteria and conducted through voting with subjective judgment by related parties. From this background, this study will determine the criteria that can be used in determining the best employees at McEasy company, which are agreed upon by all relevant parties. This study will implement 3-round Delphi method with AHP integration in the last round. The result obtained will serve as a reference for McEasy in the process of selecting the best employees in a more clear and measurable manner. In this presentation, I will explain the methodology and the result of the study we carried out, and I will start with a discussion of the two methods we use, namely Delphi and AHP. The Delphi method is a method used to resolve controversial consensus issues. The main feature of the Delphi method is control feedback from panelists, which is carried out through a series of questionnaires in several rounds or iterations. First, it will start with a questionnaire to get a broad view regarding the problem raised. The questionnaire will be filled in by a number of experts who will be involved throughout the Delphi method until consensus is reached. Then all the answers obtained will be collected and analyzed using text or statistical summaries such as mean, median, and etc. according to the type of the questionnaire. And the questionnaire in the next iteration is developed based on the result of the previous iteration. This process will continue to iterate until consensus is reached, where generally the number of the iteration is carried out at least 2 times. Analytical hierarchy process, or known as AHP, is one of the decision support system method in the category of multi-criteria decision-making technique. Commonly, AHP is used in selection, evaluation, or prioritization. There are 3 main stages in AHP method. That are building hierarchy of the problem, comparative assessment, prioritization among all criteria through relative importance value calculation. Here is the detail of AHP method. In the first step, a hierarchy will be built which has several levels, with the highest hierarchy being the objective of the problem. The number of levels in the developed structure varies according to research needs. In the second step, a comparative assessment is carried out between criteria that are at the same level and group as in the hierarchical structure. Rating using a scale of 17 people or units with the same distance. And although the AHP method can be used for individual or group decision making, the comparative assessment process is carried out by each respondent individually. And the last step is determining priority. A comparison matrix will be developed for each form of respondent. To ensure the consistency of questionnaire answer, consistency ratio will be calculated for all comparison matrices. Each comparison matrix must meet the consistency ratio value, which is less than 0.1. In making group decision, all the comparison matrix will be reduced to one comparison matrix as communal or group opinion. In this case, the geometric mean can be used to reduce the matrix. And this is our research methodology. In the first stage, we applied the Delphi method through an open questionnaire to extract initial factors regarding the criteria for the best employees. In the second stage, a quantitative questionnaire will be used to determine the level of factor contribution and classification criteria obtained from the previous stage. And as the final step, the multi-criteria decision analysis method, namely AHP, will be integrated for obtain relative importance value of each factor. During the research process, 20 respondents consisting of McEasy employees, both leader and staff, were involved. They serve as experts in determining the criteria for the best employees. And a moderator will lead all the process of collecting data from respondents at each stage. Next, I will explain the steps and results obtained in each stage of the research. The first round Delphi held with a qualitative approach in order to obtain a broad view from the expert regarding the criteria for the best employees. The respondent filled out an open-ended questionnaire and analyses were carried out on the data obtained by identifying similarities and extract into main points that are mutually exclusive. The results obtained are shown in the table on the right. There are 27 factors obtained from the first stage. These factors are then categorized into 4 different criteria, namely discipline, performance, ability to work in team, and responsibility. The second round of Delphi was carried out with a qualitative approach to achieve consensus between panelists. Panelists provide feedback by filling out a 5-point scale questionnaire to assess factors obtained in the first round in order to obtain the level of contribution of each factor. And the factor that received low rating will be eliminated. Based on the calculated result, the average score for all factors range from 3.95 to 4.65. And only factors with an average score greater than or equal to 4.3 will undergo further evaluation. Here is the result of the second round AHP. As we can see in the table, there are 9 factors that get a mean below 4.3. These 9 factors were considered irrelevant and excluded, while the other 16 factors will continue to the next stage. As the final step, the AHP method is applied to obtain the relative importance value of each factor. Comparative assessment is carried out by the same respondent who have been involved in the previous 2 stages. An respondent will be guided by a moderator who will provide explanations and assist them to provide consistent assessment. The following is hierarchy built from this problem. The top hierarchy is the research objective, namely determining the priority of the main factors in selecting the best employees. There are 4 criteria for evaluating the best employees. Each criteria has sub-criteria, which are factors related to the criteria at the upper level. There are 16 sub-criteria. All subcriteria are factors that have been obtained from round 2 Delphi. And after the comparative assessment process and calculations are carried out, the weight or relative importance value for each factor is obtained. There are two types of weights, namely local weight, which state the weight relative to factors in the same criteria group, and global weight, which is the weight relative to all existing factors. In the table displayed, we can see the global weight values of all existing factors. The three highest scores factors are work finished on time, have a good communication skill for all employees, and have good time management. As the conclusion, based on the findings, the top ranked factors fall within the discipline and teamwork category. This illustrates that the panelists give precedence to qualities such as discipline and collaborative skills as essential attributes for the best employees. And for the future works, the outcomes derived from these investigations will subsequently serve as a decision support mechanism in the annual selection of the best employees at McEasy. All employees involved as the best employee candidate will act as an alternative to the AHP structure. The obligated party will provide an assessment for each employee on the 16 factors that have been obtained from the study. And the weight of each factor will be a multiplier for each factor to obtain the final score for each employee. For further development, the result of the research can be embedded in an information system as a feature for selecting the best employees, where factor weights can be adjusted through the system and the appraiser can assess directly without the need to know the weight of each of these factors. Thank you.